Hey everybody, welcome to the dramatic conclusion of American 2. Alright, so today we're going to talk about Barack Obama. I actually went through and had to find videos and stuff like that. Just because here recently Barack Obama is considered history. Because I was going to go through, talk about some of the stuff with Donald Trump, the 2016 election. Where he didn't win the popular vote just like in 2000, but he still became the president legally, electoral college. There's no conspiracy or anything there. Talk about his impeachment and how that didn't go anywhere. I was even going to maybe mention some of the COVID-19, but all my sources that I get a lot of my stuff from, there's nothing on any of that. Because it's too current event and you like to have the cause and the effect. And right now you're just getting the calls. So you can't really determine a trajectory of how it affects society while it's happening. So while I could go through and do it, I do feel it's probably best not to, because the cause and effect aspect, you're only leaving cause and you end with loose ends as far as history goes. So I'm not going to do it. Plus, we do as much CNN 10 with current event stuff. So this is pretty much going to end with Barack Obama. I'm not even going to talk about the really his second term that much. There's a big Great Recession that took place in 2008 and 2009. The housing market crashed. The banks had gotten shady, giving people loans they knew they couldn't pay back, and then took out like insurance, knowing they gave people loans that can't pay them back, and then basically bet against those people. There's a real shady process that happened. It collapsed. The banking industry collapsed. The housing industry is who they're giving the people loans to. That collapsed. And we recovered from it. It was called the Great Recession. Took us a long time to recover from it, but we did. One of the reasons that we were able to recover from it, and I don't really talk about it a whole lot here, there were no real lasting implications in modern society from the Great Recession. As crazy as that sounds, a lot of the fail-safes that we had put in during the Great Depression actually worked. So it was fine. We had to bail out the banks, and that was the bigger thing is like if big companies like essential, like essential employees, like essential businesses, banks, if they do dumb enough stuff, the government will come and give them taxpayer monies to bail them out, even though it's private companies. That leads to some questionable stuff there. That happened right along the election of 2008, right at the end of George W. Bush's time in office and Barack Obama's time in office. So it helped, it basically affected both of them. So it wasn't a partisan like Republicans, Democrats, or anything like that. We're going to talk more today about the hyper-partisan, means the super division in America between political parties, and Barack Obama is going to come out and be elected in 2008. Now, this is a picture of Barack Obama. So Barack Obama, first off, and I have a video clip here of him being elected, and it almost, I'm going to show you the video clip here of Barack Obama, and I want you to, I'm not going to preface it. We're going to talk about it afterwards here. I said play.
When Barack Obama, a black man, accepted the Democratic Party's nomination to become president, and later, in a landslide victory, became the president-elect of the United States.
Do you want to point that out? It was absolutely he didn't barely win in 2008. It was a crushing victory in 2008 over John McCain, who, let me add, it's not like he was running against somebody that wasn't. Like, John McCain is loved. Had John McCain run pretty much any other election, I think he had a very strong chance of winning. But Barack Obama, when he came out in 2008, absolutely just dominated in the election in 2008.
Something in America fundamentally changed.
That's why I stand here tonight. Because for 232 years, at each moment when that promise was in jeopardy, ordinary men and women, students and soldiers, farmers and teachers, nurses and janitors, found the courage to keep it alive. We meet at one of those defining moments. A moment.
Barack Obama's nomination was the culmination of a sea change in American society that came about faster than anyone expected. A change from a 350-year-old era when blacks were thought of as other, as second-class citizens, to the present, when by sheer brilliance and determination, a singular man, a black man for the first time, would become the most admired person in the world.
That seems like a crazy statement, the most admired person in the world. And while, you know, I don't know if you put Barack Obama up with Mother Teresa or anybody like that, we are going to talk about how, while that seems like the most admired man in the world, come on. We need to talk about the time period that this takes place at in 2008, and that's not as crazy of a statement as it may originally sound.
The election of Senator Barack Obama will send the strongest message, not just to the people in America, but to people around this world, that America is ready to take a great leap to lay down the burden of race and create a multiracial democratic society.
All right. So I wanted to leave with that video because this is 2008. Remember, in 1968, George Wallace ran as the president to resegregate America and got almost 20% of the vote as a third-party candidate. We're not even a generation. 40 years. All right. We go from literally going from segregation, all right, to literally treating black people legally as second-class citizens. Then, just because you legally do that, the racism is prevalent. I mean, you had race riots in the 90s with the Rodney King beating and things in Los Angeles, which we didn't talk a lot about in this class because of the scope of the class. Racism has been pivotal. I mean, racial tensions. And then it was, I don't know if it was the 9/11 that made people look at Americans more as Americans, but it does seem like a sea change. And the fact that Barack Obama, who is a black man, gets elected president, it is a massive sign that America is making progress. I mean, and it happened faster than a lot of people thought, because racism is something that is taught. It is not natural. So it takes a long time for cultures to change. When you elect a black man president who couldn't even vote, for the first first 100-some years of the existence of America, that now becomes the president, is a pretty profound thing. Now, with Barack Obama in particular, so when they made the statement that he was the most admired man in the world, all right, there is, and it wasn't just because he was black. It absolutely was not. It is important to point that out, all right, because that is like, hey, you talk about FDR, he's in a wheelchair. Let's mention that, all right. Hey, Hillary Clinton's running for is the Democratic nominee in 2016. She lost, but hey, a woman's running for president. All right, we would mention that in the future. All right. Yes, he's black, so you're clearly going to mention that because it is a huge part of it. Here's another big reason why Barack Obama was so popular. He wasn't George W. Bush. It's hard to remember. So you move away from it and you look back on George W. Bush, and he already in 2020 isn't thought of with the same viciousness that he was at the end of his term. Yesterday we talked about preemptive strikes. The fact that you can just go attack a country who might do something wrong in the future is what we did with Iraq. All right, and then we just made up our whole reason for invading them. Do you know how terrified the world is of George W. Bush? It's hard to imagine. All right, the world is terrified of America. It is like we are just I always use the term like it's a pit bull off the leash, like that's not fair to pit bulls. But we seem unhinged. The rest of the world is terrified. Barack Obama, very much a logic-based person. Things are based in logic. All right. Whereas even George W. Bush says sometimes he just feels it in his gut. Not that either one of those are wrong, but the world is terrified of George W. Bush. Barack Obama is the complete opposite of George W. Bush. Most Democrats that would have run would have also been there. So, speaking of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton in 2008, they didn't know, like, they were both almost, like, which one is going to get the Democratic nominee. And Barack Obama squeaked out Hillary Clinton to get the nominee and then wins on a landslide. Had Hillary Clinton barely squeaked out Barack Obama in the Democratic primary, she would have won in the landslide. And she may have gotten the same accolades that Barack Obama does. Barack Obama, when he is elected president in November of 2008, he doesn't become president till the beginning of 2009. That's just how it works. In that little gap, he wins the Nobel Peace Prize. Like, you know why he won the Nobel Peace Prize? Because he wasn't George W. Bush. He's like, yeah, I'm not planning on just attacking people for no reason. So he wins the rest of the world's like, oh, because the Nobel Peace Prize is a worldwide award. He wins it before ever stepping foot in office. The expectations. Barack Obama is an absolutely great speaker. The expectations for Barack Obama coming in office were never achievable. Never achievable. People thought this was absolutely like the whole world's going to change. It's going to be fantastic. And you put those level of expectations on somebody, and society only transitions so fast. So that there's a lot of people who put a lot of faith that Barack Obama was going to fundamentally and permanently change America, and that there will never be racism again in America, and all these other things. That doesn't happen. We also see, probably for the most extensive way, is what we still see today, is how polarizing a president can be. Meaning people feel very strongly one way or other, and it's like you have to pick a side. It's like if you're a Duke or Carolina fan, you like have to be one or the other, and you have to hate the other side. Like there's no way around it. That is how the president is now. It's the worst job in America, because people are either going to love you or they hate you, and you can't be in the middle. It doesn't seem like. 24-hour news networks are a big part of that. All right. And there's different networks. Different networks will always talk good about certain presidents, and they'll always talk bad about other presidents. It's just what they do. It's not necessarily fake news, which everybody throws around, which is overblown, but there is absolutely an opinion. So the 24-hour news media came out with Barack Obama, and there were ones that said he couldn't do anything wrong, and there were ones that he couldn't do anything right. Just depending on which one you wanted to watch. And it becomes a very polarizing thing. So everything he does, people either loved it or they hated it. Same thing with Donald Trump. People either love it or they hate it. There is no like, no, that's what happened. It's, oh, I can't believe it, let's go get him. Or, oh, it's the greatest guy we've ever had. The next president will be the same way. And the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that. People are going to love him and hate him. There is no such thing as a president that's going to come in and people are all going to like. I think our time periods of Ronald Reagan's are over. Now, since I'm recording this, I could look really, really dumb because I did at one point say, oh, that coronavirus thing, not going to be a big deal. I said that. And I was wrong. All right. So, when he comes out, he runs on this platform of hope and change, and it really feels like there's going to be a huge, massive change in America at the time. Expectations are set too high for him. You're never going to live up to him. One of the things, and I did not realize this until he left office, and he pointed it out, and it's pretty impressive. There's no scandals at all with Barack Obama. Like none. Like, the dude really doesn't do anything shady in his personal life. No, he does smoke cigarettes. And I'm going to point that out here in one of the videos I'm going to show you of him. So he does smoke cigarettes. And it's interesting, kind of like how the media didn't ever want to show FDR in a wheelchair. They don't want to show Barack Obama smoking cigarettes. You can go Google it, and there's always paparazzi. But it just wasn't mainstream. People were really turning against cigarettes at the time already. I believe in his term in office was when in North Carolina they said you can't smoke in restaurants because you used to be able to smoke in restaurants. There's like a smoking section in a restaurant. It's like having a peeing section in a pool. It's having a smoking section in a restaurant. But so he would smoke cigarettes, and he kept saying he was trying to quit, and I think he did, and he said he got down like a couple cigarettes a day, and I think he may have actually quit, because he was president for two terms, but it was a struggle for him, and he was very open and honest, never tried to hide it, but they'd get pictures of him like on the back of the backyard of the White House smoking a cigarette quite often, and there's a a real stressful situation. I got a video of him in where he's being videoed. He's in the White Office. He's just chewing gum as hard as he can. So I'm sure he would like to have a cigarette in that, and I'll point it out to you when we get there. I don't know if that's like a nicotine gum or if he's just chewing gum because he's got to, like, you know, take his mind off of it. But so we're talking about some of the handful of things that happened during Barack Obama's time in office. So there is the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare. So let me show you. I got a short little video right here of it. It's a little graph. It's almost like a civic style video, but I want you to mentally watch this. It's like 20 seconds, all right? And then we're going to talk about it because they do a pretty good job of explaining it, I think. And then I'll try to explain to you what the concept is. The deal with the Affordable Care Act is insurance, all right? Insurance is too high. It costs too much to have health insurance, so people aren't getting it. So the Affordable Care Act, nicknamed Obamacare, requires everybody in America to buy insurance. But you're like, but it's getting expensive. So they're making people buy insurance? Yes. The government is not providing any insurance. The government just says you have to go buy it from a private company. And the government will help regulate the insurance industries a little bit more. The idea is everybody buys insurance. The cost of insurance goes down for everybody. All right. So I'm going to show you this video clip and we'll talk about that more. Because it was polarizing. Shocker.
Despite the political standoff in Congress, the Affordable Care Act began its public rollout on Tuesday. The complicated legislation gives both supporters and opponents a lot of debating ammunition. At the heart of the debate is the pro-side's view that government should require all citizens to join a health insurance plan as a way to lower costs for...
All right. So, it's called the Affordable Care Act. When Barack Obama comes through, he owns the House, the Senate, and he's the presidency. This is a sweeping change. Where I want to give Barack Obama credit, I 100% do. He had the ability to do whatever he wanted to for his first 2 years. From 2008, 2010, he could do whatever he wanted to do, pass any laws he wanted, and the Republicans couldn't say a word to him. He doesn't do that. He sits here and tries. I think he's a little idiotic. Because, again, times are changing as far as, you know, nobody wants to work with the other guy. He tries to work with Republicans, tries to make fixed health care and help everybody. He's going to learn the Republicans absolutely want him to fail. He's the president of the United States and they want him to fail. You can literally see that in present day with the Democrats wanting Donald Trump to fail. This is the type of stuff that we get in our politics today where political parties would rather see the American people hurt if it makes their political party. So if the other guy has a really good idea, you don't want it to work. Even if it helps the American people, don't want it to work because, hey, that'll just hurt America. That's where we are today. Barack Obama found himself in this situation. He had the House, it was all Democrats. The Senate was all Democrats. He's a Democrat. He can pass whatever he wants. Spends 2 whole years trying to convince the Republicans, who he doesn't need at all, to help him pass this health care plan. It's called the Affordable Care Act. They refused to help him. At the last minute, right before the election, and he's going to lose the majority in one of the houses, he goes through and he is going to pass the Affordable Care Act. And then, oh, you never talked to us. It's just really frustrating when you actually watch national politics. So, what the Affordable Care Act is. So, we're the only modern country. I say the only, one of the only, if not the only, we really might be the only modern country where health insurance isn't paid for by taxes. I don't want to say it's free. It's not, things are not free. All right. But most other countries, taxes are a little higher. You pay a little bit more out of your taxes, but you don't have to have health insurance. If you get hurt, you go to the hospital, you get sick, you have to have surgery. That is paid for by taxpayer money. So it's taxpayer money. So you don't have to have health insurance, all right, because the government pays for it. But taxes are higher in that situation. We're one of the only ones that don't do that, all right? So if you go to the hospital, let me give you just, it's crazy. You know how much it costs to have a baby? All right, because this is something that most people will deal with at some point in their life. Guys or girls, you know, takes 2 to tango. How much it costs? How much the hospital charges for you to have a baby? Something that like cavemen did in caves. $30,000. $30,000 to have a baby without complications. Right? You got $30,000 in your pocket? No? Better buy health insurance. Don't have health insurance? They charge you $30,000. Well, I can't pay this. They'll take everything you own. That's how our health insurance works. You have to have it. So, but health insurances can be $600, $700, $800 a month. How are you going to afford that? What if you're poor and you can't buy health insurance? You just can't get hurt. Like there's Medicare and Medicaid. There's things like that. But there's the amount of people. More people go bankrupt from medical bills in America than anything else. The rest of the world looks at us like we're crazy. We're like, what are y'all doing? How are your hospitals a private industry? Like literally, if you going to have surgery, say you're going to have like a surgery on something that's not like life threatening, but you need to have it. Having your wisdom teeth taken out, so it's something like that. You have to shop around to see who gives you the best price. Like it's crazy compared to the rest of the world. So the rest of the world looks at us and is like, what are you doing? Well, what ends up happening is less and less people are getting health insurance because they can't afford it. Well, if they go to the hospital, all right, and they've got their arm cut off, they're still required by law to fix that person. And they can charge them $60,000. Were they ever getting that money? No. But the hospital still needs money to run their hospital. So what do? The next time a dude comes in that has insurance, they charge him double. So they increase the prices because maybe it only costs them actually $30,000 to sew your arm back on. All right. But you couldn't pay it. So what they do is they now charge $60,000 for that procedure, knowing every other person isn't going to be able to pay it. So that when the person comes in that has insurance, they charge the insurance $60,000. So the insurance actually pays for both people. The person who didn't have the insurance and the person who did. Now, doesn't mean the person who didn't have insurance gets off scot-free. They still have a bill for $60,000 and their life is over. All right. This is how our present day. This is how our health system works. Barack Obama comes in and he kind of spearheads this whole thing. Hillary Clinton had mentioned this in the 90s, so it has been a long time in process. There was an attempt initially to, hey, how about the government creates health insurance thing? That gets thrown out the window. People won't accept that because that's socialism. So they're like, all right, so the Affordable Care Act is this. Everybody in America is required to buy health insurance. You have to. The government is not selling health insurance. The government's not making any money off of this. All right. It's called the Affordable Care Act. So if health insurance right now costs $600 a month, all right, people can't afford it. Only a handful of people can afford it. However, if you mandate it and you make everybody in America buy it, all right, you make everybody in America buy it, then since everybody has health insurance, the cost of everything will go down because hospitals will have to jack up their prices for insurance, and then therefore insurance have to raise their prices. If everybody has it, it should go down to like $250 a month. That is the idea. That if everybody has it, then the prices for everybody goes down, and our healthcare system can survive. All right. So the Affordable Care Act is in a long process, like 2 decades, and they pass it, requiring everybody to buy health insurance. If you don't buy it, you get like punished at tax time. You have to like pay like $1,000 in extra taxes if you don't have it. So there is a punishment for it. So the Affordable Care Act, not only does it require everybody in America to buy health insurance, right? But there's some other stuff that everybody agrees with that's good. So that's going to be the real controversial thing. Some of the other stuff. So did you know, say you don't have health insurance and you get cancer, and it's going to cost you $500,000 to get treatment. If you go to the insurance company, they won't give you insurance because you have a pre-existing condition. So therefore you cannot, they won't insure you because they know they'll just lose money on you. Also, say you have insurance, you've paid it the whole time, and then you get cancer, they can drop you because you're going to be too expensive. I mean, it's crazy. It's a private industry. It's a market economy. That's how America tends to work. But it puts a lot of people very dangerously close to bankruptcy, regardless of how financially stable you are. So, a couple other things the Affordable Care Act does is it eliminates the whole pre-existing condition things. You want insurance company has to give it to you, period. All right. The second thing it does is it allows you to be on your parents' insurance until you're 26 years old. All right. Because usually by 26, hopefully you got your life together. But like college students, you're 22, 23, you're still in college. And it used to be they would drop you from your parents' health insurance. You can't afford health insurance. Like, what do you do? So there's some things in this that everybody likes, such as the eliminating the pre-existing conditions concept and the idea that you can stay on your parents' insurance until you're 26. So those are pros. Lowers the cost, all the other stuff. Here's the cons to it, and they make a very strong argument. Oh, geez whiz. I did it again. Let me pause it real quick and I get us back there. I think I did that yesterday. All right, here we go.
Insurance plan as a way to lower costs for all Americans, including those with pre-existing medical conditions. Opponents say being forced to buy insurance, even if a person is healthy and doesn't want it, reduces our freedom as citizens.
So that's the argument that the Republicans have. All right. And again, the Republicans are against it. They haven't even thought, is this a good idea or not? If the Democrats say it, we're against it. There's a lot of Democrats who have not actually thought about whether this is a good idea or not. If they're like, wait, if our political party said it, we're good with it. This is that partisan politics. All right. So the Republicans make a good point here. They're like, wait a minute. This is America, the land of the free. You can't require people to buy something because they're not taxing you for it. All right. Taxes are legal. You can't mandate somebody go spend their own personal money on something. You can't do that. So it goes to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, yes, you can. So this gets upheld in the Supreme Court. Huge win for Barack Obama. All right. Present day. So while the Affordable Care Act still exists, present day, Donald Trump has come in and said, yeah, but if you don't want health insurance, I'm not going to punish you on your taxes. So there's no mandate to buy insurance. So we're back in the same boat again. Look at this final stat. All right.
48 million Americans currently do not have health care.
48 million Americans do not have health care. That means they're not covered by Medicaid, Medicare, do not have private insurance. When those 48 million Americans go to the doctor, they are charged crazy amounts of money, but they don't pay it because they can't. They'll just go bankrupt. You know where the doctors get their money from? From you, from people that have health insurance. And that makes health insurance just skyrocket. Our health insurance system is broken. It 100% is. And the rest of the world looks at us like we're crazy. Because in the rest of the world, it is paid for by the government. Not free. Taxes are higher. And the government provides it and makes it more fair for everybody. Now, the problem is that is quintessential, basic level, entry level socialism, where the government is providing those big topics. So it's a controversy, and this is, you're starting to see a touchier topic now, because our healthcare system is not sustainable long term the way it is, because there's such a big gap in the rich and the poor that there's so many people who just cannot afford health insurance, and it increases the prices for everybody else. Alrighty. So that the Affordable Care Act, the next big thing, and I guess I'll end on a high note here. I do want to mention that Barack Obama leaves the war in Iraq. Finally, I mean, it's like almost 10 years, and we're like, we're out, we're done, but we just leave it in shambles, and is going to end up leading ISIS to come to power, which is now 2020, still tying up those loose ends. So I figure, hey, if I'm going to finish something, let's finish it on a high note, I guess, here with American 2. Osama Bin Laden gets killed. The guy that was in charge of September 11th, he's been hiding from us for 10 years. All right. Barack Obama gets him. All right. It's pretty cool. So I got a video clip here. Oh, it's like a whole series. It was like 4 hours long, and I cut it down to like 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm going to go through, and I'm going to stop the video and try to explain it to you as we go through. Hopefully I didn't cut out so much of this video that it doesn't make sense to you, but it's a really cool situation that happens. And I'll just stop as we go through and teach you how we got Bin Laden, and we'll be done with American 2.
March 2011, Pakistan.
Boom. I was like, oh, is he already stopping at 3 seconds in? Pakistan. 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 All right. This is ridiculous. All right. So we thought he was in Afghanistan, and we blew it all up. All right. And he snuck out. So it's like a game of hide and seek. Like, where is he? He is 6'6" on a dialysis machine. Like, how does this man, like, where's he at? Like, he's not hiding in a cave. Like, he'll give out videos and look like he's in a cave. He ain't in no cave. He's hanging out somewhere, and it's been 10 years. So he ain't, like, the king of hide and seek. We've suspected this for a while. Like, when we only really mention it afterwards. So we are allies with this country of Pakistan. It's a Muslim country. They're big enemies with India. We are allies with them. They are turd buckets. All right. We give them billions of dollars a year so that they will snitch on terrorists. And they do. But what they'll do, and this is the junk that and we know they do it, and we can't stand it. Pakistan will find 2 terrorist groups, and they'll go to them, and they'll say, hey, one of y'all we're going to turn into America. Which one's going to pay us the most money? And whoever pays them the most money doesn't get turned in, and they turn in the other guy. This is how Pakistan works. Pakistan's a jerk. So are they giving us terrorist organizations? Yes. Do they really give a crap about America? No. They actually realize the more terrorist organizations they give America, the more money they get. Guess what they support? Terrorist organizations so that they can keep giving them into America. It's absolutely ridiculous situation. We're really sick of Pakistan. This is where Osama Bin Laden has run to. And it really ticks us off because they're our allies and they swear they're our best friend, but we know they're doing shady stuff. We can't just go get them in Pakistan because that's like a declaration of war, and we can't accuse them of being in Pakistan. So we've had some tips that he might be in there. So we call Pakistan and we're like, hey, we think he might be here. And they're like, we'll go check it out. And they're like, nope, was it here? And then we can tell by satellite images, like everybody just like ran away real quick. Like he packed up and moved. In different situations, not necessarily with Osama bin Laden, but with other situations. We get good intelligence when Barack Obama is in office that Osama bin Laden is in Pakistan. If he's in Pakistan, Pakistan knows he's there. This is public enemy number 1. This is the Twin Towers guy. This is the guy, the mastermind behind it. It was just 10 years after that. America has just been waiting to find this dude. We find him. He's in Pakistan. How are we going to deal with it? If we go ask Pakistan to help us out, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go alert him and he's going to get out of there. We are not allowed to like invade Pakistan and go into their airspace and like do things, but that's going to be the decision that we make. At the end of the day, Barack Obama's like, nah, we're getting them. I don't care what laws we have to break. And that really, it talks about some of that in this video here. So that was a massive, massive time in America. I remember that being, everybody's like, oh, it's awesome. Barack Obama's approval rating goes really high. So that's as far as we're going to get in American history. So, the end.